The next disaster may not be a hurricane. And so your ESF functions are critical, and not just from the hurricane perspective. Everyone needs to be primed and ready to go and know what your function will be in an all hazards sort of scenario.
So weekly from 10 to 11 o'clock, the satellite phone checks, and I keep reaching out to those individuals, inviting them to the party. We pretty much ask you to initiate those as a caller, and you call into one of my 3 EOCs. I rotate my EOCs, and I indicate which phone number you call. So when you call in, one of my EOC managers is there to receive your phone call, to verify pretty much which agency or group you represent, verify your phone number, and end. So it takes about, once you make connections, it takes about 30 seconds to validate. The hard part is making the connection. Because if you have a satellite phone like I have in my hand, you have to go outside into the blue sky, and you have to make the phone call. Obviously, you have to know where you're going to call into. Now, my EOCs in St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix, thanks to FEMA, they have brought in external antennas. So we can sit literally in our communications room inside, under the roof, in the dry, and receive a telephone communications call for the satellites. So we have 2 cradles on St. Thomas, 2 on St. John, and 2 on St. Croix. And again, rotate my EOCs pretty much each week to try to make sure, 1, we're proficient, 2, to make sure that the equipment still is functional that goes on.
You know, what we were trying to do is make sure we have east, middle, west to kind of double check. DC Canegata is pretty solid. It's ADA accessible as well. We probably can get about 160 people. Primary shelter pre-storm. There's no real issues at that stage of the game. The only thing is if it goes post-storm as far as feeding is concerned, because it's not an educational building, we don't have a solid food source there. That was that. Training-wise and shelter management is really a crucial aspect. So we're doing a mass care training in human services. My essential employees are all mandated to take ICS 100 and 200, and then we're going to go into the mass care. That's already been scheduled for the end of July, beginning of August. In addition, we're doing shelter-specific training with Red Cross. That's been scheduled for August. So we're going to do a joint training between Red Cross and Human Services to ensure the shelter management is on point. I've already checked in with property procurement. I'm getting the copy of their supply contracts to make sure that there's no gaps in service. Is what happened last time, is that people were given porta potties, $200,000 worth of porta potties, and there was no service. They obviously gave the service, but there wasn't a contract. So we want to make sure we pre-position or have emergency service supply contracts on point. We do have some long-term planning for 2020, so it's not just we're going to be taking this and solid knowledge here, but we are looking at other areas for 2020, potential locations, to ensure that we don't always stay in the schools. We always know that that's not the best location because we want to get back to normalcy. So we're looking at some other options and making sure that we have some other.